TV sounding. Thank you, Home Group, the management, Mr. Pathak, Ms. Dave, Dr. Chaturvedi, and my panelists on this financial conclave. I will be showing some presentation which will be slightly random in nature. Dr. Chaturvedi talked about events in the month of November, and today the world has become extremely volatile. You can't predict. At the same time, the ramifications can be very deep and it can hurt you. So on 8th evening, when all the TV channels were being ready for telecasting the elections in USA and the results thereafter, suddenly there was a programming change. The Prime Minister was to address the nation, and from 8 o'clock in the night till I think 12 o'clock, there was not a single news channel in the country which talked about the US election. So things happen very quickly, they cause disruption, and if you are not ready to face the challenges, you can get wiped off. Something which happens also in cricket. Yesterday morning, India was in a very strong score, and I think by lunch they were all out at around 4:55. Then the score expected was over 550. And then when England came to bat in, they lost 5 wickets quickly. So everybody thought that now England will fold up. But I just saw the score; it was 187 for 5. So yeah. So things happen with great speed and alacrity, and if you are not able to respond to the changes quickly, you can be history. So now let me show you a small video clipping song, which you may not like because it's from maybe a little era before me also. Before that, let us show you the video. In my viewpoint, these are the 3 main events which have happened in India, in the history of India. Independence on 15th of August 1947, the announcement of linkages to the global economy in July 1991, and demonetization in 2016. Independence Day was, by and large, people were able to forecast when it would happen. But the announcement of liberalization, globalization, and linkages to the global economy was quick and sudden, and people just did not know so easily how to be prepared for it. And so is demonetization. So just to, somebody predicted 60 years back what would happen. So this song aptly to just show you that. Now, my presentation will be more on the demonetization because that is the flavor of the season, or you can say something which people would like. So in a chart, you can see what would be the impact of demonetization. There is immediate impact and there is a medium to long term impact. What happens is it increases the liquidity and the deposit growth. I think roughly between 4 and 5 lakh crores have already been deposited in the banks. That is the increase in the deposits in the banks. What do the banks do with this money? They have no choice but to buy government securities because they cannot lend this money straight away, and there are not very good borrowers to whom they can give money. So consequently, the bonds, that is the government security prices, rally, the yields become softer. And that leads to lower rates of interest in the economy. So people expect up to 1% reduction in the rate of interest in the year 2017. So whether it happens by March or sometime in December, some announcements happen, we don't know. So what will happen because of the lower rate of interest? The saving people will get depressed because they are going to get less return on their investment. The borrowers, especially in the housing sector, will get housing loans cheaper. So you will be able to buy cheap houses when you people get into real life at rates of interest which perhaps would be the lowest in the history in the last so many years. And then there are impact on the consumer demand and spending and its multiplier effect. Then impact on gold as an investment possibilities. What happens if there is no black money? Will it affect inflation? Obviously it will affect inflation. It will be lower inflation. The GDP growth would be lower. Only yesterday, Ambit Capital has come out with a research report predicting that the GDP for the current year would go down by 20 to 50 basis points. And for 2017-18, they expect a reduction of over 1.5%. Now, that is their way of looking at things. People feel that the impact of demonetization over 1.5 years will be extremely positive. So, welcome to the new era where you have clean 500 rupee notes, clean 2000 rupee notes. Maybe you will see a lot of queues in between, but these queues are becoming less. And whenever I am on the road, going from my office to home or somewhere in the city, I don't find too many queues at majority of the banks. Maybe 20, 25, 30 people, and many of them are sponsored people by people who have black money, made them to stand in the queues, given 300, 400 rupees to get the money exchanged. And that's why the government very proactively and very quickly reacted by getting inks put on these people. And again, reducing the limit from 4,500 to 2,000, and even today not to even exchange the old notes. So this is a government which acts very fast. There could be hardships, and opposition parties, obviously their job is to criticize the government policies. So they will not look at the benefit which can accrue to the country after 1 month or 3 months, but they will talk about what are the problems today. People are used to standing in bigger queues to buy papda on Dussehra Day, outside temples, outside US Embassy for getting visas, and there they don't complain. So I will just give you 3 examples, but there are many such examples. If there is a cricket match which is happening in the city, people go 2 hours early because that is the time they have to reach, and then they don't crib about that. But to exchange some money, everybody is in a hurry, and then they start cribbing, and the media only focuses on the lines. They don't look at the tremendous work which the banks are doing in demonetizing and helping with this process. This is a table which shows, you can see the last column. On the first and the last column, what are the different denomination notes, how much was indented, how much was supplied, etc. So this is just the new supply during the year. This is not the stock. Now, it's an era of Ds. Demography, India has got a population of 1.25 to 1.3 billion people, of which about 75 or 65% population is below the age of 35. So that is the demographic trait in the world which no other country is having and will not have in the next so many years. Which means young people like you will be joining the mainstream of business, trade, employment, etc. And I was telling madam when we were talking that the younger people are much smarter than what we are. You know, I have a neighbor who's got a 2-year son and he uses the mobile for certain things much better way for a 2-year kid. So this is the brilliance, the intelligence, the awareness and the exposure which younger people like you have. In our days we did not have so many conclaves, I think. So we were also not getting the inputs from people from the industry. Nor did we have Google or internet so that we could even just surf the net and get so much information. Being the largest democracy in the world has its advantages and maybe a few disadvantages as well. The impact on the Dalal Street has been reasonably severe, but unfortunately that impact is not so much because of demonetization as it is because of global reasons, because the President Trump's election was a surprise for almost everybody in the world, and because of that the interest rate structure in USA will go up. So all money which was being transferred from USA to countries outside India, outside USA, is now slowly getting withdrawn from the equity markets back to the bond market, and that's why it is causing turmoil on the equity market. Disruption is the new thing. There was no FMCG giant in the country which had come up in the last 5 years. And now you have Baba Ramdev's Patanjali doing, and there was a good comment on WhatsApp saying the Prime Minister has made a businessman from a Baba and will be making Babas out of many of the businessmen because of the policies. So disruption is the key thing. Things are going to change very fast, very quickly. If you look at the TV announcement of demonetization which happened around 8:30, and I think by 9:30, almost everybody in the country knew about demonetization thanks to what is called as WhatsApp. Even if you have not seen the TV at that point of time, because of WhatsApp the messages flew thick and fast and very quickly, and almost everybody knew about this. So that is the power of information. That is the power of being informed. So now if I talk about the disruption which happened in stock markets years back, when we started our career, it was a physical place. For most of the people, they did not do prices on the stock exchange till the next day. Today, everybody, whether he is in Kashmir or Kanyakumari or in Kutch or in Calcutta, gets the prices on the stock exchange at the same time. So that is the power of information because of computerization and because of technology, etc. Now the discomfort is very clear because of the lines, but then people are also impatient because how much money do you really require to spend on a given day? Can you tell me, any of you? How much money do you require? You don't spend any money. No, just give whatever you are spending. Or you don't have to spend. 500. Madam, what about you?
Sir, almost 700.
I have not spent a single rupee out of my pocket in the last 10 years. No, even plastic money hardly, because you know, if you have to make expenses, you would have done in the first few days, weeks, and now you do later on. You know, unfortunately, we as a nation are consumption oriented. You see the impact at the multiplexes. You see the impact at the temples. The lines have decreased everywhere. So if you concentrate only on your necessity in life for a few months and take the pain, there is tremendous long-term gain for this country because of demonetization. So there could be some damage in the short run, but in the long run, there are going to be benefits. Because demonetization is not just the only thing which is going to happen. There are going to be a lot of other measures which will happen in the country. Now, just I put some headlines quickly from various published information. So, and these are all random, so there is no order in that. So, Bandhan Bank stops microcredit disbursement because not getting microcredit essentially happens through cash disbursement, and they don't have the notes, nor they are able to take money back because of the demonetization. Now, China holdings losing value by the day. People used to borrow in cash, maybe even at 3%, 4% per month. Now those rates have drastically reduced because what they have done, those who have borrowed money in the cash, they are now taking old notes and giving back to the lender and saying, please accept this money, otherwise I am not sure when I will be able to repay you. So the lenders have no choice but to reduce the rate of interest. The market cap has eroded by 6.6 lakh crores since November 8 and little more thereafter. And consumption stocks have got the maximum impact. Now there is an impact on the rupee which is at about the 9-month low, and that is less to do with demonetization, more to do with the global reasons. The stock markets again has got affected because of the Trump victory. The inflation in the country definitely will stabilize or will go lower. And then the Indian Jugaad has started to capitalize on demonetization, so people give money to others, stand in the queue, or try to see who can park their black money. There is a sort of a reverse gold rush, and old notes are gold for jewelers, and their sales are expected to be gone up by over 200-300%. The Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation has collected 78 crores as tax in 5 days because of old notes. They used to give advertisements, please come and pay money, people would not go. They would give all incentive schemes, waiving interest, etc. in the month of February and March, and now in November, they have got 78 crores in 5 days, and that figure also would have gone up now. The major problems have arisen with liquor sales and gambling dens, because these generally work on cash only. There have been people who show how to live cashless, and I'll show you a video later on. Digital money is gaining currency, so less of cash, we are moving towards a cashless society, and by using of plastic money, by using e-wallets, and by other means, the movement has started towards a cashless economy. And like in USA, if you go and if you ask somebody for $100 cash, 9 out of 10 people will not be able to give you $100 cash. But they will give you purchasing power through credit card of $500 if you want. So that is what USA is all about. Hardly anybody has got cash in their wallets. They use number of plastic cards. Same thing will happen in India. It will take time. So who are the beneficiaries today? Major online grocers, taxi aggregators, and even small retailers. You see many WhatsApp messages. Even small fellow, a tea shop fellow would have put a sign of Paytm outside. Okay, you can buy, have a cup of tea and make the payment through Paytm. The Nasik printing press, where the government is one of the 7 printing presses in the country, they have already given 74 million currency notes to RBI in 2 days' time. Jan Dhan accounts are being misused by people. That is the jugaad which I was talking about. There is likely to be a windfall for government because out of the 16 trillion currency rupees in circulation, about 14 trillion is of 500,000, and people expect that about 20% of this will not return back to the government. So you are getting something like about anywhere from 3 to 4 trillion rupees, which is nearly 70% of the fiscal deficit of the country. Or if you look at the borrowing, equivalent to the borrowing, government borrowing. So what happens? This money will get spent on infrastructure, on health, on smart cities, etc. And the impact will be felt after 2 or 3 years, or even maybe after a year. Maybe next year when you have the finance conclave, people will not talk about the problems of demonetization, they will talk about the benefits of what has come out of demonetization. And if you look at this MobiKwik and Paytm, they have done exceedingly brisk business in terms of new subscribers. So now what is happening? It is not about currency alone, but change of culture to do business in India. Today everybody talks about 80, 70, 80, 90% business happens, especially at the small scale level, medium scale level, by cash transactions. That culture is going to drastically change over the next 6 months to 1 year. And we'll be moving from an informal, black money oriented or non-tax paying economy to an economy which is going to pay tax. So what may happen? That the tax base will get widened, more and more taxpayers will be there in the country. GST will also usher in a new revolution, whereby eliminating more of these trade transactions in cash, and from cashless transactions to digital innovations. You have started seeing a lot of advertisements saying you don't have to buy anything or pay in cash. You can use credit card, debit card, NEFT or mobile wallets, etc. And a higher tax to GDP ratio would be there. India as a country has got a reasonably very low tax to GDP ratio. Now something to e-commerce. These are the various segments where e-commerce is prevalent today and it will become more and more prevalent. As they say, from the cradle to the grave, these are the industries where e-commerce has become a way of life. We used to write so many checks and sign them. Now majority of the broking firms hardly write checks. It's all through the NEFT route or the RTGS route through e-banking. And the parties don't have to come and collect checks. They get the money credited in their accounts. Similarly, when they make payment to brokers, most of them also use e-banking services. So neither they see the broker's face nor the broker sees the client's face for days and months together. If somebody can start and go to this link, this is what I want to show. This is all about digital economy and not very far from here, 90 kilometers from here, in a village called Agodra.
The government has announced new measures to help farmers and families that are planning weddings withdraw more money from banks amidst the massive cash crunch after the sudden ban on high-value currency last week. The limit for swapping notes at banks, however, has been reduced now from 4,500 to 2,000 rupees only, and that starts from Friday. Economic Affairs Secretary Shashi Kant Das said this would give more people a chance to exchange those notes. Remember, initially they had only allowed 4,000. Also, families can highly digital. You can pay everything online.
As Piyush Patel, a milkman, buys grocery at his village shop, he doesn't have to worry about cash. One SMS does the trick if the transaction is 20 rupees or more. Welcome to Akodra, a small village in Sabarkantha district, touted to be the first digital village in the country.
10 रुपए की चीज मैं खरीदता हूँ तो मोबाइल में से मैं SMS कर देता हूँ, तो वो खाता में से डिडक्शन हो जाएगा। ऐसी फैसिलिटी हमारे गांव में है। और एक डेयरी का पगार होता है, दूध डेयरी का, जो दूध भराते हैं हम लोग, उसका पगार भी खाता में आता है। हम ATM से ले सकते हैं, बैंक में से ले सकते हैं।
अभी छूटे का प्रॉब्लम है, अभी छूटा मिल नहीं रहा है, लेकिन हमारे यहाँ ऑनलाइन ट्रांजैक्शन होता है, इसलिए हमको वो छूटे का प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहता है।
About a year ago, ICICI Bank, in association with the state government, under the Digital Village program, adopted Akodra. The village has nearly 1,500 people, and 1,200 are bank accounts. Every account holder has online money transfer facility. The village is completely Wi-Fi. Those without smartphones opt for the SMS route. Before digitization, Mohan Bhai, a retired teacher, had to travel 7 kilometers to get his pension. Not anymore.
પેન્શન જે છે એ મતલબ બેંકમાં છે, પણ ત્યાં જમા થાય એટલે ATMના કારણે અહીંથી ઉપાડી લેવાય છે અને ઉપાડીને જરૂર જેટલા રાખીને બીજા બેંકમાં જમા કરી દેવાય.
Given the heavy reliance on online transactions, this branch transacts 1 crore rupees annually. This ATM caters to villages in 7 to 8 kilometer radius, but unlike cities, you don't find long serpentine queues here. Part of the reason is the digitization. Akodra is touted to be country's first digital village, and that's the reason why many people rely here on cashless transaction. Perhaps it's time to replicate this experiment across the country. In Akodra village with camperson Pramod Arya, Rohit Banu for NDTV.
And as always, when things get tough, the tough get going. A group of citizens in Chennai called Chennai Tricolor have come together to...
So you can see it is not education which stops people from becoming digital. It is the bogus reason saying we don't have smartphones, we are not literate, computer literate or mobile literate. 1,500 villagers in the village, 90 kilometers from here in Sabarkantha. And you know Sabarkantha is not the best district in the state, and still these people have got 1,200 bank accounts. This is the power of rural India, and this power of rural India, because of digitization is going to increase. So no, I am still not through. 1 minute. Sorry, I need to show you something more.
इस देश में 2 भारत बसते हैं। एक वो भारत जो जंजीर तोड़कर प्रगति की उड़ान लगाने को बेताब है, और दूसरा भारत जो खुद जंजीर है। एक भारत कहता है मुझे मौका दो, मैं खुद को साबित करके दिखाऊंगा। दूसरा भारत कहता है पहले खुद को साबित करो, फिर शायद तुम्हें कोई मौका मिले। एक भारत हमारे दिलों की उम्मीद में बसता है, वहीं दूसरा भारत हमारे दिमागों के संदेह में। एक भारत करता है तो दूसरा भारत सोचता है। एक भारत आगे बढ़ता है तो दूसरा पीछे चलता है। लेकिन बदलाव का सूरज निकल रहा है। हर पल अनगिनत देशवासी उस भारत से इस भारत में गर्व से शामिल हो रहे हैं। दुनिया टकटकी लगाए एक धड़कते गरजते भारत का उदय होते देख रही है। एक ऐसा भारत कामयाबी में जिसका भरोसा हार के डर से कहीं बड़ा है। एक ऐसा भारत जो स्वदेशी का राग छोड़कर विदेशी कंपनियों पर अपना तिरंगा लहरा रहा है। कहते हैं इतिहास हवा का वो झोंका है जो वक्त बताकर अपना रुख नहीं बदलता। बस यही वो वक्त है जब इतिहास करवट ले रहा है। आजादी के इतने वर्षों के बाद ये देश गिरते संभलते थमते बढ़ते एक नए मुकाम पर आ पहुंचा है। और अब 60वें वर्ष की शुरुआत में दोनों भारत समय की कगार पर आमने सामने खड़े हैं। एक भारत नीचे की गहराई देखकर कश्मकश में है और दूसरा भारत आसमान की ओर सर उठाकर कह रहा है उड़ने का वक्त आ गया।
emphasizes the financial transformation, sustainability versus vulnerability. If you focus on vulnerability, you cannot make things sustainable. There are going to be obstacles, there are going to be problems. We have to overcome them, we have to find solutions to them. And we have to move on the path of progress, because India is going to be a digital economy, would be having demographic dividends, and democracy will show its best results. I would like to thank all of you for giving me this opportunity, and I think slightly I have overshot my time, so I excuse the next speakers. And when you are doing the work as an opening batsman, even if you don't do well, there are other people to follow you. So you should never worry about being the opening speaker at any conclave. Thank you very much.